Okay, so today is once again our sharing on the philosophy of root education. Okay, I'm very honored by your presence. I am very grateful that you've taken the time to join us. I really enjoy seeing all of your beautiful faces. Okay, look at those wonderful smiles, whether you're driving or you're at home. Um, Thank you, chị Thanh Thủy, again for your turning on the camera and saying hello. Okay. So today, for last week, we talked about the reality triangle. Okay. So that is one of the three standard reference system that enable us to help determine what kind of good seed we need to plant in our lives so that we can grow that seed into the kind of tree and to bear the kind of fruit that is desirable and favorable for ourselves and our loved ones. All we need is those three references: the root cause of life, the human construct, and the reality triangle. And today we are going to discuss the first candle in our house of holistic health. Okay, house of holistic health or house of holistic wealth. And just so we get a nice concept, it's nice idea, it's going to draw a nice candle. Okay. Right there. Okay. Okay, that is the candle of wisdom. In our house of holistic health, there are 7 candles: wisdom, attitude, character, integrity, capability, physique, and material possession. Okay, so we're going to enrich our lives, beginning with enriching our wisdom. So we already learned about the reality triangle. Okay, so we're going to apply the reality triangle to wisdom. Okay, so I'm going to write that word again. This time is this color. Wisdom. To draw the reality triangle of wisdom, we're just going to do it like this. 3 aspects. Okay, there is the physical aspect. Like all things in this universe, there is a physical manifestation. There is an energy component that gives rise to that physical manifestation. And then deep inside, there is the information that give rise to the energy and then give rise to the physical manifestation. Okay, the same reality triangle. So instead of enclosing it in a triangle, we just kind of open it up a little bit. So today we're going to focus on the information corner of wisdom. Okay, what are some source concepts? Remember, information within us is that which we know, that which we believe, and that which we understand. Okay, that which we know, that which we believe, and that which we understand represent the information within us, represent the core concept, okay, the source concept, which represent our reality. Okay, so when we mention anything, whether we mention happiness, what do we know about happiness? What do we believe about happiness? What do we understand about happiness? Represent our information about happiness, represent our source concept of happiness, and then which represent our reality of happiness. Okay, so today, wisdom, the information about wisdom is what we know, what we believe, and what we understand about wisdom. Okay, so we're gonna focus on what we are going to know about wisdom today. Okay, excuse me. So in the information aspect of wisdom, hello, and Tae An, thank you for joining us again. If it's convenient, feel free to turn on your camera and say hello, okay? All right. In the information corner of wisdom, we are going to talk about 5 levels of awareness. Okay, so when it comes to wisdom, there are 5 levels of awareness corresponding to 5 levels of wisdom. Let me make sure I have my notes. I want to make sure I get it right. So information of wisdom, 5 levels, okay, LEVELS, okay, 5 levels of awareness corresponding to 5 levels of wisdom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's start with level 1. Okay, so the information of wisdom, okay, wisdom is simply understood as a concept that points to a state of inner awareness. Okay, wisdom is simply a concept, okay, that points to a state of inner awareness. Okay? It is a state of being, it is a state of awareness. Or you can say wisdom is simply understood as a concept that points to a state of awareness of the inner being. Okay, you can say the state of inner awareness or a state of awareness of inner being. Okay, wisdom is simply understood as a concept that points to a state of inner awareness. Now, there are 5 states of inner awareness, okay, corresponding to 5 levels of wisdom. Level 1, okay, so let's write down level 1, state of awareness. Okay, we're going to write down so let's just say wisdom is simply understood as a concept. Okay, we will learn about the source concept. It is simply understood as a concept that points to a state of inner awareness. Okay, we're going to say level 1. Okay, level 1 is a state of inner awareness such that people, things, events, and phenomena and circumstances are either right or wrong, true or false, good or bad, should or should not. Okay, a state of awareness of level 1 is a state of awareness such that people, things, events, phenomenon, and circumstances are right or wrong, true or false, good or bad, should or should not. Okay, I'll say that one more time. A state of awareness of a level 1 is such that people, things, events, phenomenons, and circumstances are simply right or wrong, true or false, good or bad, should or should not. Okay, that's just a level 1 state of awareness. Okay, so basically it is just state of a level 1. Level 1 is right, wrong, okay, true, false, okay, good, bad, should not, okay, etc. Get the idea. Dot, dot, dot. Okay. Level 1 state of awareness is a state of awareness such that people, things, events, circumstances, and phenomena are either right or wrong, true or false, good or bad, should or should not. So now a person, okay, so now we define a person of level 1 wisdom. Okay, now a state of awareness is simply an awareness. It's just you just kind of be aware of right or wrong, true or false, right? As early as when we first learn to speak, or we first learn to understand. Okay, we already as a human being, we begin to develop this sense of right or wrong, good or bad, what we should do, what we should not do. We learn that mostly from our parents or from experience. As a child, we may put our hand into the fire and immediately we learn what we should and what should not do when it comes to putting a hand in the fire. Right? As a child, we behave a certain way, and very immediately our parent taught us what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do. So we develop a sense of right or wrong, true or false, good and bad, should or should not, pretty early in life. Okay, but that's just a state of awareness. It is not yet wisdom until the following. Okay, a person of level 1 wisdom is a person who has the state of awareness so that distinguish right from wrong, true from false, good from bad, should from should not, etc. Okay, a person of wisdom is a person who can distinguish between right and wrong, true and false, good or bad, should or should not, regarding things, event, circumstances, phenomenon, and people. Okay, a person of level 1 wisdom, or a person of level 1 awareness, is a person who can distinguish between right and wrong, good or bad, should or should not, like or dislike, even that, right? Regarding things, event, circumstances, phenomena, and people. Right? That's pretty simple. Now, do you notice that anytime we encounter any event or we encounter any people, immediately our state of awareness of level 1 arises? As soon as we hear an event, we hear a news, or as soon as we meet a person, we begin to judge them as this person is a good person, this person is a bad person, this event is right or wrong, what you're doing is what you should do or should not do. Do you see how fast we jump immediately to this state of awareness? Right? Did you guys notice that? Immediately when we meet something happened, and we jump right into deciding this is right or wrong, good or bad, true or false, believe or not believe, should or should not. And it's very natural because it's a state of awareness that all human beings have. Okay. But simply having this awareness that there are, right and wrong, true or false, good or bad, is simply intelligence. Okay, that human being, we have intelligence. As a child, we grow up, we develop a certain intelligence, being able to distinguish between good or bad, right or wrong. It helped us survive in the world. Help us deciding how to perceive the world and how to behave. Right? It's very good for survival. It's called intelligence. However, intelligence is not enough. If you notice, it is not enough up to now. It has not been enough to give us the kind of life that we really, really want, which is a life of health and a life of happiness. Okay, so in order to experience a life of full health, of total happiness, of 7 holistic riches, we need more than just basic intelligence. We need more than just an awareness that things are right or wrong, true or false, good or bad. we need wisdom. Now here, where wisdom is different than basic intelligence. A person of level 1 wisdom is a person who will choose to see the good out of the bad. The person who has wisdom is a person who choose to do what is right instead of what is wrong. Who will choose to do what you should do instead of what you should not do. Do you get that? Oftentimes we know the difference between right and wrong. Okay? We know the difference between good and evil. Referring to the Christian Bible, it is said that human beings, we chose to eat from the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, human beings at the very beginning, we chose to eat from the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. And as a result, human being, we now know good and evil. But knowing good and evil doesn't mean you are choosing to be good. Just because we know right from wrong doesn't mean that we always choose to do the right thing. Just because we know a certain food is bad for us doesn't necessarily mean that we will actually choose to eat the food that is good for us. All right. So having this awareness of right and wrong, true or false, good and bad, should or should not, it's just basic intelligence, but it's not necessarily wisdom just yet. It becomes wisdom when we actually choose the right from the wrong, we choose the good from the bad, and we choose to do the thing that we should instead of should not do. Okay. Okay. Let's consider the way we see another person, or the way we see history and events that happen. If a person who acknowledges everything that happened, all the good and all the bad, or if a person who record all the facts that ever happened in the world, what value is there? Right? What value is there in acknowledging all the good and the bad on all the events that happens in the world? You're just a storehouse of information. But there's no value until we can actually wisely pick and choose the kind of information that is beneficial to us. Okay, this part is important. So if we think about our past, to think about all the things that happened to us, all the things that people do and say to us, if we know that certain things are right and wrong, that's good, because we have an intelligence, we have the level 1 awareness. But if we remember only the things that are wrong, if we remember all the bad things, if we remember all the negative things, then we store up inside ourselves, inside our being, inside of our being, all the negativity. And over time, we become very negative. And over time, we not only become a negative person, but we also attract negativity into our lives. We attract undesirable circumstances. And with that kind of awareness, even though we know right from wrong, but if we acknowledge all the negative things and remember all the bad things, and we attract negativity into our lives, can we really say that person is a wise person? No, right? Okay, that person, most people, I would assume that most people want life to go pretty smoothly, that people want health and happiness. But if we keep on thinking negatively, if we keep on choosing to retain all the bad things, if we focus on the wrong, if we focus on the problems, okay, if we focus on the problems of life, then we will continue to attract problems. And so we will never be able to experience the kind of life and reality that we want. And so if that's okay, then we cannot be said to have wisdom. So a person of wisdom is a person who, when confronted with right and wrong, will choose the right. When confronted with information that is either true or false, or when you look at another person Right? Another person, we judge another person as right or wrong, good or bad, should or should not. If we are always focused on a negative, then we are not necessarily a wise person. We may be considered a intelligent person. It may make us, help us survive in the world, but we will ultimately not experience the life that is desirable. And the only way to experience life that is desirable is to use level 1 wisdom and choose to see other person and circumstances in the positive way. Okay, so instead of focusing on all the bad things that our loved one has done, just focus on the good thing that they've done. Make a big deal out of the good thing that they've done. Because with the principle of light, if we focus on the negativity, then the negativity is going to get bigger. But if we focus on magnifying the positive things, then the other person will more likely to be positive, and they will do the things that are good. They will do the thing that they should. They will stay in the right instead of the wrong. And over time, when there's light in our room, then there will be no room for the darkness to come in. Does that make sense? That's level 1 wisdom. Okay, level 1 awareness is knowing the right or wrong, knowing good or bad, knowing should and should not. But it takes wisdom to choose to focus on the right, to focus on that we should do, focus on the good. Okay, Jilam, did you hear that?
Yeah, I got it. I just
Yeah, so
I still listening to you.
Yeah, does that does that give you any realization with respect to how you are approaching your son's health?
For my son.
So whereas previously you were focusing on the problem.
Yeah, for example, for my son that I want to talk about the food, right? If he wants to eat fast food, is not good for health, right?
Yeah, so fast food,
that's
not good for health. That is right or wrong, but you're focusing on the wrong. You're focusing on the bad.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of focusing on fast food, not good for your health, why don't we focus on healthy food that's good for your health?
But in case he want to eat them. So what should I say?
Don't say that fast food is bad to your health. Focusing on, son, do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be healthy?
For example, I will advise that you should eat fish, or you should eat fruits or vegetables.
Yeah. So if you focus,
I don't need to say that fast food is not good.
Exactly.
I just say, you should. Yeah, you
Exactly.
should eat vegetable. You should eat fruits. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
That's
right. So eat
that means
vegetables, and yeah, that is good for your health. Don't even talk about the bad stuff. Don't even focus on the fast food. Don't even focus on the unhealthy part. Because if you help your son focus on eating healthy food all the time, then you have no room and no time to eat bad stuff. You get it?
Thank you. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. Anybody want to say anything? Marianne, you made it home. How are you doing? Did you get anything out of that little discussion there? Did you want to say anything before we move on?
So from what I understood is what level 1 wisdom, it's just like a normal daily life concept, like processing processes, like everybody, as we grow up, we know what's wrong, what's right? And then, since we were little, if you do something wrong, you get punished, right? So so we learn, from early on that, okay, certain thing is right, certain thing is wrong. But what's the difference though? The wisdom. So you were saying the person with the wisdom, they would choose to do right thing, even those they might get in trouble or persecuted, or
I didn't say any of that. I didn't say any of that. Okay. I didn't say any of that. And since you asked that question, there is another question in the chat box. Okay. Somebody said, I have a question. How can we know if it is right or wrong based on our judgment only? Okay. These questions, how can we know if it is right or wrong? It has to do with how you were brought up, how you have accumulated and cultivated your knowledge. It is often based on your own culture, right? Because one culture could say something, could say that something is right or something is wrong. That is all has to do with your own culture and your own environment. So what is right or what is wrong is based on your surrounding and your culture and how you have accumulated and cultivated that knowledge of right and wrong. Here, wisdom doesn't answer the question, how do we know if it's right or wrong? Okay, what right or wrong is up to you, up to your culture, up to your own upbringing. Okay, wisdom level 1 is awareness that there is right or wrong, based on whatever cultural background or environment that you live in. We have a sense of right and wrong. But a person who simply know that right and wrong is not enough to have what we call wisdom. It's not wise. They're just intelligent. Okay, if you know everything that is right or wrong, then you are very intelligent. It helps you survive in the world. But you're still trapped in that circle of the mind, the ego. We're still trapped in the right or wrong. And it is only when we use the principle of light and we proactively choose to bring the light, you choose the positive. Now, whether you choose the right and wrong and experience any negativity out of that, that's causality. That's your own choice. Okay? How you pay for that or not pay for that has to do with whether or not you are going with or against natural law and principles, universal principle and natural law. Oftentimes, when we make a kind of choices that gives us undesirable result, it is because we are going against certain universal principles and natural law. If, for example, we like to criticize people, okay, we know right or wrong, right? And we know right or wrong, and we speak up our voice, and we're always criticizing people for being wrong. Okay, so we are always criticizing for people being wrong instead of focusing on the thing that they do right. And all we do is we criticize people all the time. We criticize people for being wrong. We are focusing on what they're doing wrong. What do you think that's going to happen to our affinity with other people?
People run away from you.
Yeah, it's going to go negative. You're going to make people unhappy, right? You're going to create enemies instead of friends. That is applying right and wrong, but focusing on the wrong. And in the end, you're going to experience undesirable circumstances. Why? Because you're going against the law, natural laws, and universal principle, against the law of against the principle of light. On the other hand, you just focus on that which the other person do, which you believe is right. Just focus on them doing right and praise them for doing right. And if you inject positive energy in them doing right, they're going to spend more time doing right than they won't have time to do the wrong thing. And then you won't have to criticize them for being wrong anymore. That's the power and beauty of the principle of light. That's the power and beauty of wisdom of level 1, when you can pick and choose to make a big deal out of right instead of making a big deal out of wrong. Right?
I'm sorry.
Does that make sense?
So you are saying, in order to be wise, you know, when you say wisdom, wise, usually we refer to elderly people, right? They have been there, they have done that, they have a lot of life experiences. So that's why we say they are wise. They have wisdom, correct?
Well, that is a conventional understanding of wisdom.
Right, right.
But wisdom in that definition, if you associate having a lot of experience, does it necessarily give you happiness and health and happiness? See, a person who has a lot of wisdom, or a person who has a lot of experience may have experienced a lot of mistakes. Okay, when we say experience, what we're really saying is that they have certain lessons that we can acquire. Just because a person have a lot of mistakes in their life doesn't necessarily mean they're wise. Just because they have a lot of experience, meaning they have spending many years on the planet and they have lived and they have encountered a lot of suffering, isn't necessarily the kind of person that you want to talk to. Right? Let's say an very old person who has a lot of suffering, make a lot of mistakes, and all they know is all the mistakes and all the suffering. And they will tell you how to avoid all the suffering and how to avoid all the mistakes of life, but they have nothing to tell you how to do it right. Would you really consider that person a wise person? Do you really want to be the student of that person? Right? A smart person learns from their own mistake. A smarter person learns from other people's mistake. Great. You can avoid making mistakes. You can avoid pain and suffering. But a really, really, really smart person learns from the success of successful people. Right? So the idea of an image of an elderly person who is very knowledgeable and wise, you have to ask the question, are we focused on the life experience of mistakes and suffering, or are we actually talking about the knowledge, the kind of right, the kind of should, the thing that true that we are trying to accumulate? We go to those people because we assume that they have the right answer, that they have the truth, that they have the thing that we should. Right? We go to that, not because they have a lot of experience of suffering and pain. So in that sense, a wise person could become very wise through many years of experience, trial and error, pain and suffering. But it's not the pain and suffering, it is not the trial and error that has value. It is the lesson that comes from those trial and error that have value. And in day 1 or day 2 of this entire 21-day sharing, we talked about the mental activation, okay? The principle of mental activation. We talked about the idea that it is not, it is not your mistakes in life that has value. In fact, when you realize something, okay, yeah, lesson, realization, okay, lessons, impression, and realization, this one. There was that one. The first page that I have. Oh, this one, okay, this one. Okay, lesson, impression, realization. It doesn't matter how long we've been alive in this world. What really matters is when we come to realize something. When we realize something, it's when we actually have a lesson that causes us to experience a shift in awareness and a shift in perception so that our life from then on change forever. And we come to realization of our life through 3 ways. One is to pain and suffering. Okay. Sometimes pain and suffering will cause us to realize we've got the answer and we will never do the same thing again, and we found a new way of being. Another way of realizing something is to contemplation. We just think and think and think and think and think and questions and inquire and think on our own, and one day, boom, we come to a realization about certain truth. And the third way, and the simplest way, and the fastest way to enlightenment is realization through learning and studying from people who have gone before. So instead of wasting our lives and time, experience pain and suffering, or contemplating, and you could contemplate all your life and never come to any realization, or we could experience pain and suffering all our lives and never experience any realization. Simplest way is to simply learn it from those who have come before, those who have succeeded. And so what we're sharing is just philosophies and knowledge from people who have succeeded. Okay, people we call the sage. That okay, so at least do you get that? A wise person is a person who will make a big deal out of the good, out of the should, out of the right, instead of making a big deal out of the wrong or the false or the bad. That's level 1 wisdom, corresponding to level 1 level of awareness.
So in other words, level 1 wisdom, you have to apply what we have been learning so far.
Of course, what else? That's what we do.
From day one, like
Of course.
yeah, like the eggs,
Yeah.
the what is it? The principle of light,
Yeah.
vibrational energy frequency. So always have positive energy, and you know, understand the human justice, so we don't judge people.
Yeah.
And-
So with level, with level 1 wisdom, I want you guys to consider this the following word. Okay, it is called this one is called acknowledgement. Just say acknowledge. Okay, and the other word is gratefulness. Okay, so let's think about our relationship with our spouse, our children. Okay, they may do things that we agree with, that we don't agree with. They may do things that we like or dislike. They may do things that we think is good or bad. But if we acknowledge the good, we magnify it, make a big deal out of it, and then we be grateful for it, already can you see what that relation is going to look like? As opposed to in a relationship where we only acknowledge the bad, and instead of being grateful, we would resent and blame the other person. Can you picture a couple who always point out what the other person do wrong and then blame them for it, versus a couple who always acknowledge what the other person do right and then is grateful for it? See that distinction? It takes wisdom to do it, because basic level 1 awareness is just an awareness of right and wrong. We just know right and wrong. What you do is right, what you do is wrong. But a person of wisdom, when it comes to relationship, acknowledges the right and is grateful for the right and the good thing that they have. What about ourselves? Okay, can you picture a person who only talk about all the bad things that they have? Okay, all the weaknesses, all the insecurities, the six barriers. If they are focused on those barriers instead of acknowledging for that which is good about themselves, and feel grateful for their own being. Can you see two different persons? When they apply acknowledgement and gratefulness to themselves. What about our work? Do you know any co-worker who always point out what's wrong with the work environment? What's wrong with the boss? What's wrong with the work hour? What's wrong with the pay and the benefit? And then is blameful and resentment toward their boss, their co-worker, and the environment. As opposed to a worker who acknowledges and is grateful for the good in other people in the work environment. Right? If anybody here own a business or you have employees that you have to deal with human resources or talent assets, you would not want a person who just simply have level 1 awareness of right and wrong, but always focus on the wrong. In fact, a person who is always looking for problems to solve, there are people who are very proud of being able to solve problems, usually engineers. Engineers are great at finding problems. And so there's never a shortage of a need for engineer because they will always find problem to fix. While you may need those people here and there, but what you really want is the kind of people who can build and create, as opposed to just fix problem. Okay, the more problem you find, the more problem you try to fix, the more problem you're gonna find. Okay. What about your country? Okay. Well, we live in a democracy, and freedom of speech is a basic human rights that Americans have. And because we know right and wrong, there are Americans who will always point out what's wrong, who will always blame Congress, who will blame the politician, is resentful to the whole system. Yet there are those who has the wisdom to acknowledge that which is good about democracy. Acknowledge and is grateful for the country, grateful for the system that give us the freedom of speech, okay, the freedom of life, the freedom to pursue happiness, right? What about simple little things as our tools, right? The tools that we use, right? If we acknowledge this as a tool that we use, it is a tool of value creation. It is a means of value creation. With this pen, I can write and draw and share knowledge, and I'm grateful to it. Then simply in that instantaneous moment, my gratitude, my acknowledgement is going to raise my vibrational energy frequency. Okay, and if anybody interact with me, they may benefit from me being positive simply because I acknowledge and I'm grateful to the pen. So acknowledgement and gratitude or gratefulness is wisdom. Okay. Right. So the idea of a person of wisdom of level 1 is recognizing right and wrong, true or false, good and bad, but make a big deal out of the right. Okay. Shine light into that which is good. Raise other people's level of awareness, raise other people's level of energy, and be proactive, right? A person of level 1 wisdom is a person who is an owner of his or her inner being. An owner of his or her inner being. And what is ownership? Ownership is to be fully responsible and to be proactive. Okay, so a person who is an owner of his or her inner being is one who is fully responsible for the stuff that is going inside and be proactive in making it positive and healthy and happy. Okay, that's level 1 wisdom. Okay, let's move on to level 2. So Anything? Yeah.
So we heard about the story about a husband and wife walk into the forest, and why here the ducks and the husband heard a chicken or something like that,
Okay.
right? Yeah, we all heard about that
I
story.
don't remember that one. Can you tell me the whole thing?
I
What
thought
happened?
yeah, it's like the young couple, right? So
Okay.
I think they on their honeymoon or whatever, so they're taking a walk, and then in the forest or somewhere quiet, and suddenly they heard a noise like
Okay.
whack 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 or chick 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 or whatever. So the wife was saying, "Oh, that's must be maybe a duck." I couldn't remember exactly, but you know, the wife said, "Oh, I heard a duck's noise," and the husband said, "I don't think it's a duck noise. I heard a chicken's a rooster noise or something like that."
Mm.
Right, so they keep, you know, go back and forth, no chicken, no ducks, no chicken, no ducks, and then finally the husband you know, kind of like give up, you know. So he was saying, okay, it's if you say it's the ducks, then you know, let it be ducks, right? So and then that's the end of the story. But then the lesson, but we learned is it doesn't matter right or wrong. Our main goal is happiness, right? So the husband was you know, say, okay, you know, it's a duck, so in order for her to make his wife happy. But then they was at the end they asked a question, what if the duck come out, right? So if the ducks appears, then the wife will say, see, I told you, it's the ducks. And then from that, and then in the future, when anytime they have argument, they said, remember that, remember back when we were walking, like that, it's the duck, really the duck came out. So you was wrong. I'm always right. But lucky, they didn't, there's no duck, no chicken, no rooster, whatever.
I get it.
So,
Okay, yeah.
is that the wisdom level 1? Like
Okay.
the husband, no, it's the right thing to say, even though there's no duck, no chickens.
Okay. So
Is it?
I think I remember the story. Okay. So
Yeah,
the idea,
like,
the idea is that while the husband
that's
and the
right.
wife were
Yeah.
arguing,
Yeah.
while they were arguing, okay,
Yeah.
they were operating on the simple awareness of right and wrong. That's fine. Okay. Each of them have their own sense of right and wrong, and they're arguing over what's right and what's wrong. And they're stuck in that ego, right or wrong. Okay, that is of mind, that is part of the mind, that is the ego part, right or wrong. And as long as being right is more important to them, then the argument would always continue. Being right is more important to them, then the argument will always continue. But the husband, he's able to stand above the problem. The problem is right or wrong, is it duck or chicken? That is the problem of life, right? If he is at this level 1 awareness, he will be stuck in that problem, and he will continue to argue over his wife because he is interested in being right. She's interested in being right. They're both arguing because they want to be right. But the husband, what he did was he was able to rise above the problem. So being right or wrong was no longer important. Being happy with his wife was more important. Okay, being happy with his wife was more important. That is rising above life's problem. Okay.
So I guess I don't get it unless you give me the examples. I learn better from the examples, like story or something.
Well,
So,
that
so,
is-
so in that story, is it the husband expressing the level 1 wisdom or just
That-
the level 1 awareness? Not he
that-
doesn't have a
I think
wisdom.
I think that is higher than level 1. We're gonna get to level 2. Okay, that is rising above even level 1. Okay. Yeah. You know, level 1, you could say depends on this. We're fantasizing. We are using a lot of hypothetical, and it's not a, you know, we don't want to go down a rabbit hole thinking talking too much about hypothetical. The idea of the level 1 awareness is to try and see the good in the other person. The husband, if he was a level 1 person, would set aside the argument over the duck and the duck and chicken, and he would focus on that which is good and happy, good with and right about his wife. Giving up your own sense of right or wrong, it depends on the person. That's why I can't really discuss it, because we don't know the state of mind of that person. That's just a hypothetical concept. It could be level 3, it could be level 2 that caused him to stop the argument. Okay, so let's learn about level 2 and see if we can make better sense of that story later. Chị Dung, did you want to input something? Because you mentioned you seem to know the story. Are you able to, do you want to share anything? The story of chicken and duck? Chị Dung? Chị Dung?
Yeah, thank you. I just send a message to remind us if
Yeah.
someone don't get the story. But for this level of wisdom, I think it's focused on distinguish the right or the wrong, true or false, good or bad, or should not.
Mhm.
In this story, the man, the husband, choose the should. They should stop the agreement with his wife, because if he still go far in the agreement, and he will not get the happiness. And in this case, I think he still apply the wisdom of level 1.
Okay.
He choose true, he choose happiness, he choose should,
Okay.
and it's been good for his happiness, I think. Thank you.
Okay. So at least he has risen above basic awareness of right and wrong, and at least he's taken that next level, which we call wisdom of level 1. Okay. So instead of fighting with his wife, he chose, you know, happiness. Okay, so that's level 1 wisdom. And we're going to see how that, if a person of level 2 wisdom can also do that as well. Okay. Thank you, Ji Young, for sharing that. And thank you, Marianne, for bringing that story up. So level 2. Okay, so level 2, awareness. Okay, so level, oops, let's do another color. Let's do, okay, let's do this one. Level 2. Okay. So level 2 awareness. Level 2 awareness is a state of awareness such that the root cause of life begins with the self. Okay, level 2 awareness is an awareness such that the root cause of life begins with the self. Okay, does that sound familiar? Yeah, level 2 awareness is an awareness such that the root cause of life begin with the self. Now, what does that mean? Whenever a person encounter any situation, irregardless of right or wrong, irregardless of good or bad, irregardless of should or should not, a person of level 2 awareness simply recognize that the root cause of life begins with me. Okay? Could be right or wrong, could be true or false, could be good or bad, should or should not. But at the same time as those other level 1 awareness happening, a person of level 2 has this awareness that the root cause of life begins with me. Okay? And I don't blame myself or other people. Okay? This level 2 awareness is that, oh, the root cause of life begins with me. Not everybody has this. Everybody has level 1 awareness. Some people from level 1 awareness are able to rise to the level of level 1 wisdom, where they will pick and choose the right over the wrong, the true over the false, the good over the bad, the should over the should not. That's level 1 wisdom. But very few people actually attain a level of awareness such that the root cause of life begins with me. Okay? Irregardless of what's right or what's wrong, there's this sense. Has anybody here, I'm just curious, has anybody here ever, when something happened and you just suddenly get a sense that the root cause of life begins with me? You just take responsibility for it. You don't blame it anybody. You don't blame it yourself. You just take full responsibility for what happened. Anybody here experience anything like that they want to share? It's rare. Okay. Yeah. It is a high Thảo. You raise your hand. Do you want to say something? Or did you actually
Oh.
experience it yourself?
Sorry, I actually didn't listen. I didn't hear clearly what you have said. What was the question? So could you please repeat?
Yeah, the question is, have you or anyone experienced the state of being or a state of awareness such that the root cause of life begins with me? That you just
I
take
see.
total responsibility no matter what happened. You don't blame other people. You don't blame yourself. You just take full responsibility for something because you got the sense that you own it.
Yeah. Actually, for me, I think it's very, very important. I teach my children that you have to be 100% to be responsible for what happened in your life. So from like your work, at school, or relationship with your friends, or even your emotion. So it's like uh, um, in our relationship with my husband, for example. So before having enough knowledge or wisdom, I often blame that he did this, that made me unhappy. But once my awareness is enough, so I know I have to be responsible for my happiness, and it's my side. I cannot change others. I just can't change myself. So it's the first thing. So since then, I I bring light. So that like the wisdom level 1, right? I choose the good thing, and I I magnify it, and I will see my husband. He has a lot of good thing. How he has done a lot of good thing for myself, and also for my children. And whenever he does something, I will tell my children, see how your dad love you, and and I will let them see also how he care about me. So uh, it is for them and for myself too. So we all look at the very good things ourselves and practice it. So I just said not only for myself, but also it's kind of a way of thinking that I can just transfer. I'm not really confident to say that I can be their good model, but I can gradually teach them that way of thinking to see the result of our life is really belong to us, the way we see life. So my husband, initially he didn't change anything. He's still the one he used to be, but our life much better. And then gradually he turned to that side much more. And he I think the energy was transferred. The positive energy was transferred, and he's like the unwanted behavior that previously has now seems very I even now if telling you about this, it's very hard for me to recall what's the latest time that he behaved what I don't want. so maybe the unwanted behavior seems almost disappear. I
Yeah,
didn't
when you
know.
have the light, then darkness has no room to be in you don't even remember the bad things. Yeah. Yeah, when you have the
So-
light, you don't even remember what darkness looked like.
Yeah. I didn't even aware of it. Now, because I'm telling you this story, yeah, I don't know why I went. So everything is very cheerful in my family now, and people love each other and always see good things, and even we don't see the bad thing. The we don't really see it. It's everybody happy. So it's very I feel thankful very much for the knowledge and very valuable knowledge that we are having. We got from our organization, from our great teacher. Thank you very much.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm very grateful, Jitao, for that very touching sharing. I think it brought tears, happy tears to my eyes. Okay.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
The level 2 awareness, interestingly enough, with the person of level 2 awareness, it has a state of awareness such that the root cause of life begins with me. With that comes with no blaming, no resentment. And without blaming and resentment, what happens is that a person opens up the possibility of activating the energy of magnanimity. Okay, it opens up the possibility of magnanimity. When we take full responsibility for everything that happened, then we are more able to become magnanimous and generous and tolerant of other people. Okay, we'll learn about the energy of wisdom in the subsequent sharing when we talk about magnanimity. But yeah, so let me read to you the official definition. Okay, so for those of you who want to write down, you should write it down. A person would level. So we talk about the awareness, right? Basic awareness is that the root cause of life begins with me. I'm sitting at the desk. I'm working. I have a cup of water on my desk. Somebody else walk by and brush that cup of water, that water falls down, it breaks. A person who has level 2 awareness simply say, oh, root cause of life begin with me. I clean it up, done. Story ends right there. A person with level 1 would start to blame the other somebody else for hitting the water cup, or blame themselves for putting the water near the edge of the table. Like, whose responsibility? I'm sorry. If you say, I'm so sorry for putting the cup there, then you're blaming yourself. You're forcing the other person to forgive you. Or if you blame the other person, then you get into an argument. You see how problems create more problems when we don't have level 2. But with a person of level 2 awareness, simply clean it up. End of story. Okay. Now, a person of level 2 wisdom. Okay, so we went from awareness. Simple awareness is just kind of sense that I'm responsible for everything. Okay, whether I did it or I didn't do it doesn't matter. Good or bad, right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I'm just responsible because I am a person of level 2 awareness. Now, a person with level 2 wisdom, and you should write this down, is a person with a state of inner awareness such that the root cause of life begins with myself. Okay, that is a definition of a person with level 2 wisdom. It's a person with the state of inner awareness such that the root cause of life begins with myself. It's a person who fully comprehends and recognizes that all things, circumstances, and events originate from their own being. Okay, this is a little bit, this is something we have to pay attention to, okay? A person of level 2 awareness is a person with a state of inner awareness such that the root cause of life begins with myself. Next is a person who fully comprehends and recognizes that all things and circumstances originate from their own being. That all things and circumstances originate from their own being. In other words, from the seeds of mental images inside them and not from those things or circumstances outside them. Okay, a
When you
person,
write down too long, I can't.
write it down. Okay, this is
I
wisdom.
can't remember all of them.
Okay, a person of level 2 wisdom is a person who fully comprehends and recognizes that all things and circumstances originate from their own being. You can start with that. That everything happens originate from their own being. And what is that? Those are the seeds of mental images inside them, not from those things or circumstances outside. Okay, or another word you can say, very short, a person of level 2 wisdom is a person who understands that everything happens from in here, from inside the mental images. It is the seed of mental images inside them and not from the things that are outside. This is a powerful and a breakthrough awareness and wisdom, and not everybody can accept it. Not everybody can experience it. If a person who is still stuck in a level 1 right or wrong, my fault, your fault, then they will never be able to rise to the level of 2 awareness and wisdom. It is only through recognition that the root cause of life begins with me that we can recognize that all things and circumstances originate not from the outside, but from within me in the forms of mental images. Okay? In the form of mental images. In other words, a person of level 2 wisdom is a person who does not expect change from the outside, but is clearly aware of the need to change from within the inner being. A person of level 2 wisdom is a person who does not expect change from the outside, but is clearly aware of the need to change from within the inner being. I'll read the whole thing over. A person with level 2 wisdom is a person with the state of inner awareness, such that the root cause of life begins with myself. Is a person who fully comprehends and recognizes that all things and circumstances originate from their own being, from the seeds of mental images inside them, and not from those things or circumstances outside them. A person of level 2 wisdom is a person who does not expect change from outside, but is clearly aware of the need to change from within their inner being. Okay? It's a person with the mindset of expecting changes in others is the beginning of suffering. Changing oneself is the beginning of happiness. Okay? It's a person with the mindset of expecting changes in others is the beginning of suffering, while changing oneself is the beginning of happiness. Okay? I'll read the whole thing over, see if you can get a sense. Okay, we're trying to raise your level of awareness and your level of wisdom. A person with level 2 wisdom is a person with the state of inner awareness, such that the root cause of life begins with myself. Is a person who fully comprehends and recognizes that all things and circumstances originate from their own being, from the seed of mental images inside them, and not from those things or circumstances outside. A person of level 2 wisdom is a person who does not expect change from outside, but is clearly aware of the need to change from within their inner being. It's a person with the mindset of expecting change in others is the beginning of suffering, while changing oneself is the beginning of happiness. Okay? So the formula for the root cause of life is a tool. Okay, we went through that very early in all of this session. The formula for the root cause of life is a tool from the scientific perspective that gives us the proactive choice of creating our own reality by creating positive mental images. A person of level 2 wisdom recognizes that the external reality comes from our internal mental images. So when it comes to our spouses and our children, how they behave, how they appear to us, is really how we've been seeing them in terms of our own mental images. Okay? A person of level 2 wisdom is a person who is proactively creating their own reality by proactively creating positive and favorable mental images. Okay, so do we each have a clear mental images about our relationship with our spouses? Do we have a clear positive images about our children? Do we have clear images about our finance and our health? Because in the scientific approach, the scientific method, we begin all things with the outcome in mind. We begin with the final result, right? Scientists would start with a hypothesis, which is the final result, and then they will build experiment leading to that result. An architect who wants to build a house will have the picture of a house very clearly, down to the minute detail, and then they will build in order to achieve that final result. It is the same thing for us. It is our mental images about something about someone will determine how they appear to us. Our mental images about ourselves will determine how we become. Okay. So let's see if we can connect the three reference systems that we have discussed so far and apply level 1 and level 2, especially level 2 awareness. Well, let's see if I can draw this picture. That's a reality of that's a reality triangle. Okay, it could be anything. It could be our health, could be our happiness, could be our relationship, could be our finance, could be our son's health, could be our future spouse, soulmate. Okay, in the physical corner, in order to get the kind of reality that we want, we need good mental images. A person of level 2 wisdom create positive mental images about what it is that they want. And in order to arrive at good positive images, what they need is favorable source concept. Remember source concept? Source concept is information within us. It is the seed within us. That which we know, that which we believe, that which we understand represent the source concept within us. That is the triangle of reality. Good images, that is the root cause formula. So we already have the system, right? We have this is the root cause. We have the reference system. This is the root cause. Root cause formula. This one is the reality triangle. Okay. And this is a physical or material aspect of reality. This is informational aspect. Information corner. This is the energy component. In the terms of the energy component, what we need is a positive affinity with people. And in order to get positive affinity with people, what we need to do, we need to accumulate a bunch of grace and merit. Remember how we collect grace and merit? If we help other people become positive, we collect a seed of positivity in our fortune account, a good fortune account. If we want to understand this material better, okay, we need merit. Merit is an intellectual energy that helps us better understand this material. And a way to accumulate intellectual merit is to share it. Help other people understand it, and in the process, understand it ourselves. Okay, so that is part of the human construct. Okay, that is that whole grace and merit, that whole vibrational energy frequency is part of the human construct system reference. So let's take, for example, well, since, let's take, for example, swimming. Let's say swimming in the ocean for 10 kilometers. The final outcome would be swimming in the ocean for 10 kilometers. In order to achieve that, first you have to have good images Okay, we have to see ourselves being able to swim in the ocean 10 kilometers. That is the scientific formula, because clear images equals outcome. The clearer your images, the more likely your outcome of life is going to be. So if you want to swim in the ocean, it is better to at least have good mental images about swimming in the ocean. And then you go and you find favorable source concept, find information, study, learn, read, attend lesson, attend lecture, watch other people do it, find coaches. Once you have a good favorable source concept and you have good image of what it looks like, it is very likely that you're going to be able to do it. And furthermore, we can increase our grace and merit in terms of swimming. How? By helping other people swim. We may not be able to swim yet, but attend swim meet, attend the classes, help people change, help people with their towel, be around people who swim, help the coaches bring the water, be in an environment where we can increase our positive affinity with people who swim, help other people swim, right? Help the coaches, help the swimmer, bring them water, bring them sustenance, food or whatever it needs, clean the locker room if you have to. So your human construct, part of your affinity with other people, we build our energy with respect to the swimming. We raise our vibrational energy frequency. And when our vibrational energy frequency reaches a certain threshold, then swimming in the ocean will become a reality for us. It will become a physical manifestation. That is the discussion on the vibrational energy frequency, right? To be a match for it. Something is a physical reality for us is only if we are a vibrational match for it. Otherwise, it's empty space. Okay, for some of us here, swimming in the ocean for 10 kilometers is empty space. It never happened because we have not had favorable source concept and we have not had the energy vibration to match it. But if you have good mental images, if you have favorable concept, if you raise your energy so that your vibrational energy match for it, then pretty soon you're going to be able to swim 10 kilometers in the ocean. What about harmonious marriage? Okay, you use the same concept, use the same tool, good image. So begin by accumulating and cultivating good image about what it means to have healthy relationship, harmonious relationship. And this is where that whole discussion about experience and wisdom comes in. Yeah, you do want to talk to people who do experience and have the reality of happy marriage. Don't go talk to a million divorcees about their marriage. They're going to tell you all the bad things. You do want to talk to and learn from the people who have experienced it. And each person will give you some good image about what it looked like to have a good marriage. And then you go and you find favorable concept. Right? Read the book called 5 Languages of Love, 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. There are many books that give you positive, favorable source concept about marriage. Okay? And then you raise your energy vibration. Hang around people who are happily married. Share with them the 9 words, the 9 golden words about harmonious marriage, right? You have to have the 3 speak the same language, have the same agreement, and you want to be cooperative in all areas of life, especially including the finance, the sex, and the love. So you take 3 times 3, that's 9. If you can check mark all 9, then guarantee you're gonna end up with a physical manifestation of a healthy marriage. Okay, so we have just used all 3 concepts. What about physical health? Jilam, are you still here? We've been helping Jilam with her son. It could be, any of us. Okay, if we want good health, first, find good images about health. Find people who are healthy. Have clear mental images of about what it means to be healthy. Are we talking about mental health or physical health? The World Health Organization defined health as a state of complete mental, physical, and social well-being. So for you gotta have all three. If you don't have all three, then your health is not complete. What we're doing here is we're working on our social health, right? We're helping each other feel good. We get happy, we learn, we expand our mind, are raising our level of awareness. We are working on our social health. And we are learning to take ownership of our inner being. We're learning about level 1 awareness, level 1 wisdom. We're learning about level 2 awareness, level 2 wisdom. We are improving our mental health. Okay, and then at some point you have to go out there and exercise. We're not doing. In fact, we are even sitting here. We are taking care of our physical health too. We're resting. We're not working hard. We're just resting. We're enjoying. It is leisure. It is pleasurable. So everything we're doing is contribute to our health. Okay, and you can get more information. If you want a physical health, learn about exercise. Come up with a goal. Okay, and we already mentioned the affinity, the grace and merit. We are interacting with each other, so we are helping each other improve our health as we speak. All right. Begin all things with positive mental images in mind. Okay. And those images is what? It's what we hear, what we see, and what we speak and what we know. Just start watching what you say about yourself, watching what you say about other people. Are those positive? Are those desirable things? Okay. So you see how the 3 reference system play into the whole system, and how we can use that to take ownership of our life. So if we want to go back to the story about the chicken and the duck, okay. So husband and wife is arguing. He hears chicken, she sees duck. A person of level 2, now we're on level 2, a person of level 2 wisdom will say, oh, root cause of life begins with me. This conversation, where this conversation go, it's gonna be me. He will be the first to take that responsibility to either agree with her or not agree with her, whatever. But it begins with the responsibility that he owns that conversation. And he takes full responsibility for it. And if he can raise his own awareness to a level where the conversation about right and wrong is no longer important. It is the happiness that's important. He has a good, positive image about his marriage. Okay, a good, positive image about his marriage is that the wife and husband will talk about things that make them happy, not argue about ducks and chicken. Right? So he has level 2. He has good, positive image. And he earns grace and merit by agreeing with his wife. Just let her win the conversation. Women are always right. Right? Yeah, if men are smart, you just let women win out of the argument. Then you earn your grace, you earn your positive point in your good fortune account. Okay. And then he already knows, that person has already knows that 5 languages of love. They are more than just arguing over chicken and duck. 5 languages of love talk about physical touch, talks about quality time, right? If husband and wife is strolling in a beautiful forest, that's quality time. But if they're arguing over chicken and duck, then that's not quality time. Okay, there's physical touch, there is quality time, there is acts of service. Okay, acts of service, cleaning, cooking, or whatever. There are another language is the gift. Okay, some people like to receive gift and give gift. That's how they speak their language of love. And then there are words of affirmation and words of encouragement. Say things that will cause the other person to be happy. 5 languages of love. That is a favorable source concept that husband has already mastered. So when he stopped arguing, he could have raised himself to level 3 wisdom already. Okay, does anybody have any question or would like to share something about level 2 wisdom and awareness before we go to level 3? Yeah, Tita, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I would like to add a small thing. So the story of duck and chicken, as far as I remember, the below part of the story is choose to be wrong.
Okay.
So like I'm bad. It's my fault. It's not really we talk about fault, but we said, oh, because of me, so it happened. So no worries, something like that. So we think we choose to be a bad person in the situation. So we choose to lose, not to win. We choose to be not to be good. So we don't need to be the winner. And I still remember one Vietnamese saying that Teacher Ming told us it is thương người mình thắng, thắng người mình thương là không thương người mình thắng. So I don't know. So win the people that we love is that means we don't love the people that we win. So yeah. So I think it's maybe a little bit added in what we were talking about, like so in the different sense, right? So being right or wrong or not, or always we choose the bright side, and but ourselves we always low down our role, and we choose maybe the I don't know how to express it in English. So I'm sorry, it's quite hard. But we choose not to be win. We can choose to be a loser. But in order we choose to be a loser. But in order to have happiness, to be happy for everybody. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
so that's that statement by Teacher Min translate to, if you win against someone you love, that means you don't love the person you win against. Okay. In English, there's a saying, similar saying, it say to win an argument and lose a friend. You can win an argument and lose a friend. That's a
I
negative
agree.
way of looking at that. That looking at
I
the
agree.
darkness side,
I
right?
agree.
That is our
Yeah,
level
thank
1
you very
wisdom.
much.
Okay, that's level 1 wisdom. Okay, you're picking to lose because you are seeing a greater gain. You are picking to lose, you're choosing to lose an argument in order to win a relationship. Okay, that is a very good example of level 1 wisdom, right? We know good and bad, we know right and wrong. We're choosing to lose instead of win, right? We're choosing to lose an argument in order to win a relationship. Okay, so the husband in that instance could do that. If he has level 1 wisdom, he will choose to lose an argument and win a relationship. A person of level 2 wisdom, however, winning or lose doesn't mean anything. He would rise above winning or losing. That's a different, that's a higher state of being. It is a higher state of awareness Okay, that I own this conversation, that I am the master, I am the root cause of my life, and winning or losing has no meaning. But I am creating a positive image of a husband and wife who is harmonious, who is happy, who is walking in the wood and enjoying quality time, as opposed to winning and losing. In the other one, you have to give up. You have to kind of give up. You lose, right? You give up you give a part of yourself in order to win something better. There's still a little bit of a trade-off, which is fine. There's still a bit of trade-off. But level 2, there's no loss at all. You own everything. We own everything. You own the entire conversation. You own the entire scenery. We take full ownership of our own relationship, so there's no loss at all. See the power of level 2 wisdom? It opens up a very powerful choice, allowing us to stand above life's problem. Okay? By creating, we become a creator of our destiny. We're no longer subjected to the causality of well, we're still, we're still subjected to causality. It's still cause and effect, but we are now creating a new cause. We are planting new seed, positive mental images. So it is a very powerful opening of choice. All right, did you get that last part? First one was a trade-off. Sure, I'll lose the conversation, I'll lose the argument, but at least I win a wife. But level 2 wisdom, oh, I don't lose anything because the argument has no meaning. Right? Okay. With that, so let's move on to level 3. Okay. So exciting stuff, and I'm very happy that you guys are interacting with us. I'm so grateful. Okay. Does that help other people? That our conversation, does that help Marianne? Does it help okay, and Taean say wonderful story, so it seems to be helping. Okay, Marianne, are you more clear about level 2 awareness and wisdom?
Wow, all I understood is, yeah, always let your wife win.
Fine. That's fine, good. Let's stick with that.
Woman, yeah,
Let's stick with
woman
that.
first. That's
Okay.
all I get from that, from all that, talking. Okay, woman win. Yeah. Happy wife, happy family.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, well, happy family too, right? Right.
Yeah.
But can I share a story? It's a real story though.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the couple in the business of delivery, I would say like a medical stuff, it can be anything. It can be medicine, it can be medical supplies, whatever, to the elderly people. So in order to delivery that kind of stuffs, husband have to be licensed. You have to be reliable. They have to do the background check and everything to make sure that you're not going to, steal or lie or whatever.
Okay.
All right. So what happened is, so he delivered the medicine, the whatever, to the clients, and some of the clients don't want to take them. Like they would say, "Oh, I have a lot of those. I don't need it anymore." You can take it, but then it's free of charge because the Medicare pay for it. So so instead of returning those to the processor, to the business, the husband went home and asked the wife what to do. Like, okay, these medicine or medical supplies are already paid for, no charge to the clients, but the client didn't want it, but it's already paid for. So what should we do? And then they said, oh, why don't we collect them and then send them to Vietnam to help the poor. And then, years later, of course, when they got audited and they find out that the client didn't receive it, but, they have a record that it was delivered. So the husband end up in jail and lost the license. So that's the lesson, it's like, even though I say, okay, wait, let your wife win, but the husband didn't use his wisdom.
Level 1, wisdom.
Right, is strong, right? But he still do it because he want his wife to be happy. And then in a way that we were thinking that's a good cause, right? I mean, yeah, donated to the poor in Vietnam. So they were thinking they will, they doing the good deeds to poor people, and they will have some kind of, a raise or merit. But then at the end, they pay for it, Yeah. So let your wife and it's not always right.
It is a lesson.
Use your wisdom, okay?
It is a lesson. Yeah. Thank you, Marian. That's a good story illustrating the law of causality.
Yeah.
We cannot escape causality. Okay. At that time, at that moment in time, husband and wife, they agree on a certain path. They planted a seed that they believe was the right thing to do. Right? They help other people in Vietnam using that money. And so it will increase their affinity with other people, increasing the grace and merit with respect to those people. But they also violated the law.
Right.
So they may earn some positivity or desirable circumstances when they go to Vietnam and meet those people. They are now their benefactor, but they are going to have to pay the price for going against the law. So a person of level 1, wisdom would know to do the right thing. Okay. Yeah, there are laws at work, human laws and universal laws, and they are always at work. Sometimes they conflict, but a person of wisdom would know, would understand that you see the long consequence. And that comes with the idea. Yeah, since you mentioned that, so let me just share this idea, because since we are on level 1 and 2 wisdom, in order to behave in such a way that is beneficial to everybody, there is this 4th circle of life, which is the self, the family. This is the organization. Okay. And then they're gonna say world. Okay. Just gonna say the world, the rest of the world. Society, how you can create more circle if you want. But the idea is that if all we do is thinking about ourselves, if we just worry about ourselves, benefiting ourselves, then we may come in contact, we may come into conflict with our family. Right? We see that happening all the time. Parent and children, we have different wishes, we have different interests until we conflict. If we all we care about is ourselves, we may come into conflict with our family. There are people, on the other hand, who sacrifice themselves and only serve the family, but at the expense of themselves. After a while, they get burned out, they become resentful, they start to blame, they burn all the fortune, right? Remember the resentment and blame are one of the big matches that burn your mountain of cash. Right? Your good fortune or a mountain of cash, easily gained, easily burned. And then there are people who work to support themselves and their family, but they have no loyalty to the organization. It could be the job, okay, or it could be the church. It could be whatever organization that you think it's important to you. We call it in general organization. There's an entity that is outside of our family, right? People will steal from the organization to support their family and themselves, but that is a conflict. They will go to jail for that. And then there are people who sacrifice themselves and their family for their work, right? There are people who spend all day at work. They just work, work, work. That's for the organization, but they don't think about themselves and their family. And then we get bigger and bigger out into the world. It is oftentimes we find our self-interest, our family's interest, and our organization's interest sometimes can be in conflict with the rest of the world. And then there are people who are the opposite. They always out there trying to save the world when their family is in trouble, when their own health is in trouble. So if we fail to see all these at the same time, then we will run into conflict. It is only a person of wisdom that is able to pick and choose the kind of behavior that will be able to help themselves and their family and their organization and the world at the same time. And we have to allow ourselves to think in all of that at the same time so that they don't conflict. Because if any one of them conflict, you're going to run into a problem. Our effort will be wasted. Right? There are ministers and priests and people who go out there and try to save the world and their family break. And then there are people who are always selfish, and then they end up hurting the rest of the world. So in this, our organization, our teaching, we apply level 1 and 2 awareness and wisdom to ourselves, our family, our organization, and our world at the same time. And often, if we think about the world first, okay, if we think of ourselves as part of the world, if we think of our family and our organization as part of the world, that is simpler to benefit at being part of the world. If we just think about ourselves and we forget the family, the organization, and the world, then it's easy to get into conflict. But if we think of ourselves as part of the world, then everything we do is for the world, but being part of the world, then we benefit. If we can help the world be at peace, then our organization, our family, and ourselves will simply achieve peace. But if all we care about is peace for ourselves, then we will go out there and we will run into people who are not at peace, and we will still have conflict. That's an important part. That's an important awareness. If all we do is worry about ourselves, enrich ourselves, become healthy ourselves, and then when we get out there and we meet another person in the world, they are not happy, they're not healthy, they're not at peace, then that would limit our own ability to experience health and happiness. But if we work to make the world happy, to make the world healthy, to make the world peaceful, and know that we are part of the world, then when the world is at peace, is happy and healthy, we are also happy, at peace, and healthy. So think about the world and think about ourselves as being part of the world. Using level 1 and level 2 awareness, that's all you need.
Can we apply this idea into WIT house? So the cell is the base, right? The foundation. One side is family, one side is organization, and a group is the world, right? So as long as the foundation is yourself, is good, like you have a good foundation, then you will build up family, organization, and help the world, right?
It's if we split the house, the example of the house, the idea of that house is to try to point us to our inner being as the foundation. Okay. But if we say ourself is the foundation, then yes, there's a way, yeah.
You know, you have yourself have to be at peace.
We have to, yes.
Yeah, so that's why we always say peace begins with me.
Yeah.
Right.
But if all we do
we're
is
not going to
on
focus
just the foundation, then we will never build a house.
Right. But I was saying like, okay,
Yeah.
peace begin with me. So you have to take care of yourself first. And then
Mhm.
after that, if you know how to take care of yourself, then you know how to take care of other people, you know how to take care of organization, and you know how to take care of the world, right? But careless people, you know, if you don't even know how to take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of, you know, other people's society and the world?
Yeah, so the person of level 2 wisdom is a person who recognizes that, who has the mindset that to change, to expect other people to change is the beginning of suffering.
Right.
And to change
Yeah.
ourselves is the beginning of happiness. But we can't just focus on ourselves and never, and we'll forget, because when you know, we don't have a boundary of where this self, you know, when is it enough before we can actually help the world? When is it enough? When are we going to be healthy enough before we can go out there and reach out and help other people? When are we going to be rich enough? When are we going to have enough peace before we go out and there and help other people? Right? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. How we can measure? We can't measure that. We never know how long we're going to live. We might not live tomorrow.
Mhm.
So as we work on the self, we have to think about the family, the organization, and the world at the same time.
I
We have to
see.
recognize that as I am developing myself as a part of the world, and the world is getting better. And when appropriate, I will share it with other people. Otherwise, if I wait till I finish mentor, if I wait till I finish master, if I wait until I finish postmaster, if I wait until, who knows? And then you could be dead tomorrow, and you will have not contributed anything because you're focusing only on yourself. You see? So the self is inside it. We are part of the world, but we understand that we are connected. Okay, we are connected. Everything that we do, every word that we say, it's going to ring out when we meet another person. It's going to affect that other person. Going to meet, and that person is going to affect another person. So as we work on ourselves, we also recognize that we are changing the world. That opens up a new awareness level now, huh? We are now connected to the rest of the world by a chain of causality. Every word, every action that we do affects ourselves and other people. And so we can no longer afford to take for granted the word and the thing that we say, because it's going to affect the world. And if we don't we don't share this material, it's going to affect the world.
Well, we don't have to really, you know, like you have the race and merit, you know, to share this knowledge, you know, in English. But some of us, you know, like our destiny is not to be a teacher, not to be a preacher. Our destiny is just like be a normal person, but we'll spread this philosophy of root what is the root education by our behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like we mentioned about seven
Some great gifts of life. Yep.
7 gifts of life, right? Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm not going out there and said, hey, you want to listen to this, want to hear this? No, I just practice that's 7 gifts of life. That, you know, I think that's good enough for me, because I mean, my destiny, you know, I know for sure I'm not a good teacher, you know, I cannot teach anybody. So, but I'll you know, I'll do my best, you know, to practice those 7 gifts. So what I'm saying that we start from small and going up, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Keeping in mind that we are part of the world.
Right. So yeah, just like here in America, we always teach children to pick up after them, so at home they pick up trash, and then when they go outside they don't litter. If they see a piece of trash on the street, they pick it up and throw it in the dumpsters. And they do the same at organization and the world, like recycle, thing like that. So that's why make the society better. So I hope everybody will start doing it, recycle and just do a little bit, contribution a little bit to your society. But I know for sure I cannot teach anything. I cannot teach anybody.
Your presence is already a lesson to a lot of people. Yeah, you're sharing, okay? You're sharing, you're questioning. It helps other people understand, right? Is that true, guys? Those of you who are here. Okay. It is now 2 o'clock, 2 hours since we started.
Okay.
Our vibrational energy frequency was pretty high, so time just flew right by.
Right.
Do you guys want me to talk about level 3, awareness and wisdom, or do you want me to save that for next week?
Let's save it for next week because I'm tired. I should not say that. I'm not feeling well. Not a negative word too. How do you say that? I'm ready to learn, but not today.
How about you, Chị Lâm?
I don't know anybody else.
Dung, do you guys want to jump on level 3? I do want to push our sharing a little bit faster so that I can get to more of the characters and integrity. Season 1, we did not get too much of the character and integrity. Those are the higher level part of the house.
Frank, can I say something?
Yeah.
I mean, since you share this in English, it's a lot harder. So you don't have to. Do you have to finish it in 21 days? I mean, you can extend it to 42 days because English is our second language. You take slow, but at least you go slow, but we get it. We understand, right? Instead of you go too fast, like level 2. You didn't write down. I didn't write down either. I only get a few words. Here.
The speed of your learning is not how fast I talk. The speed of your learning is not me. The speed of your learning is you.
Right. So my destiny.
It is, yeah, right. Root cause of life begins with me, so don't blame Frank. Okay.
So I'm a lost learner.
Okay. If you want to retain, if you want to truly understand this material, right, you want to think about the lesson that you learn. You want to apply the impression and the realization. This is the principle of mental activation. This is why in the Mentor 6 program, we have to do it every day. Every time we learn something, we have to do a video. We have to share what we learn, what we impress, and what we realize, because those are the transformation. Realization, this is a transformation right here. Okay, long sought inquiry. It doesn't matter how fast a teacher Toàn talk. Doesn't matter how many classes that he offers. It can go nuts with so many classes. Some people study 16 hours a day. How did they do that? Don't they have a job? Don't they have children? No, it's not that. It is the cause of life begin with me. And if you want to understand this material, you would make the necessary step, whether to review it or to ask question or something. Okay. There's always the video that we can always go back. Right. So what?
Sure. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah. So anybody here dying for the level 3 wisdom, or do you want to wait till next week as well? Chị Lâm, chị Dung, chị Thảo, are you in mentor with chị Thảo?
Yes, I'm in Mentor 6.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So for those of you who have not spoken up, do you want to talk about level 3 wisdom?
Yes, I have 20 minutes for today, so it's okay if we
I'll just give
continue.
you the definition Okay, let's just give definition. Okay, let's see how far we can go. You guys can always go back to the video. Okay, I will upload the video usually by the end of the week, so you have at least half a week to review. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so level 3 wisdom. So level 3 wisdom is a state of emptiness of inner being. Level 3 awareness. Sorry. Okay, let me write level 2. Hang on. Level 2 was what do we say? Root cause. Root cause of life begin with me. Okay. So level 3. Let's use a different color. Let's use green. Oh no, let's use yellow. There's a reason why we use yellow. Kind of hard to see. Oh, let me see that. Level 3. Level 3 state of awareness. Okay, level 3 state of awareness. It's a state of emptiness of inner being. Emptiness of inner being. Okay, that's it. Level 3 awareness is a state of emptiness of inner being. Now, thank you, Antayan, for writing that onto the chat. Yes. Level 3 awareness is simply the state of emptiness of inner being. Now, a person of level 3 wisdom, a person of level 3 wisdom is a person with the state of inner awareness such that all things, circumstances, phenomena, and people have nothingness as their essence. I'll repeat that. A person of level 3 wisdom is a person with the state of inner awareness. Okay, it is a state of inner awareness such that all things, circumstances, phenomena, and people have nothingness as their essence. All things, circumstances, phenomena, and people have nothingness as their essence. Okay? A person with a state of inner awareness such that all things, circumstances, phenomena, and people have nothingness as their essence. It is a person who always perceive that people, things, circumstances, events, and phenomena are, by nature, have no problem. It's a person who always perceive that people, things, circumstances, events, and phenomena are, by nature, have no problem. Okay? All things have nothingness as their essence, and thereby, no problem. Okay? A person of level 3 wisdom is a person with a state of inner awareness, such that all things, circumstances, phenomena, people have nothing as their essence. It's a person who always perceives that people, things, circumstances, events, and phenomena are, by nature, have no problem. It is a person who always lives with the present reality. It is a person who always lives with the present reality. It is a person who always already exists with the truth within themselves. Okay, I'll say that again. It is a person who already always exists with the truth within themselves. Okay, I will explain that again. We went through that already in the human construct, but I'll explain it. It is a person who always live with the present reality. It's a person who already always exist with the truth within themselves. And what is this truth? It is a person who always know that they are already always hearing. Know that they are already always seeing. Know that they are already always speaking, and know that they are already always knowing. Okay, a person of level 3 wisdom is a person who always live with the present reality. And the present reality is a person who always already exists with the truth within themselves. Okay, what is this truth? Remember the human concept? We talk about you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That's a quote from the Bible, the Christian Bible. Okay, what is this truth? A person who already always exists with the truth within themselves. And what is that truth? The truth, okay, is a person who always know that they are already always hearing. That they are already always speaking, that they are already always seeing, and that they are already always knowing. Okay? And the fruit of that, a person of level 3 wisdom is a person who has a state of being of serenity and inner peace. A person of level 3 wisdom is a person who has the state of being of serenity and inner peace. Okay? So that already always seeing, that is the will. Okay, the will to see, the will to hear, the will to speak, and the will to know. But saying the word will, sometimes you can confuse that as an intentional, voluntary. I will myself to do something. But it's more accurate to say that is the already always hearing, the already always seeing, the already always speaking, and the already always knowing. That is the true hearing, true seeing, true speaking, and true knowing. That is the truth within ourselves. And by recognizing that truth, you will be free. Why is that? Because look at this. Go to here, go to see, go to speak, and go to know. We call this the true hearing, true seeing, true speaking, and true knowing. Why? Because we are already always hearing. We are already always seeing. We're already always speaking. And we are already always knowing. That is something that does not change over space or time. Even in our mother's womb, when we were a fetus, a baby in the mother's womb, we are already hearing and seeing. Okay, we are already hearing and seeing. And when we were born, we begin to speak and we begin to know. And once we know, we can't stop knowing. We cannot unknow something. Okay, that is why it is already always there. And that is the simple truth within us. So this circle, okay, remember this circle? Outside of this circle, the inner circle is we call our inner being or our true self. Outside of that, we have the mind. Okay, what do we do with the mind? We analyze. Right? We analyze and we distinguish. Analyze. Okay, let's write that again. We analyze. Okay, analyze and distinguish. We analyze. What do we do with our mind? We analyze. And when we have the emotion, what do? We react to things. Okay. With our true self, our inner being, we simply receive. We receive any information that comes in. Okay. So a person of level 3 wisdom is a person who lives in the present reality, who knows that there is an already always hearing, already always seeing, already always speaking, and already always knowing. So whenever any information comes in, instead of being burdened, if it goes over here, instead of being burdened by the emotion in the mind, it takes on a positive and negative charge, it becomes a little heavy. Right? We start to analyze, we start to think. If it reaches our emotion, we react, we get angry, we get happy. If somebody calls us crazy, ooh. Depending on our personality, our nature, our 16 nature, if we are interested in identity or if we're interested in appearance, we would behave a certain way, we would react a certain way, we would think a certain way, all depend on our nature. But a person of level 3 wisdom simply lets the information comes in, and that's it. They know that they're already seeing, they're already hearing, and they're already speaking, and they're already knowing. And so information is just information. If somebody called me crazy, oh, I'm hearing crazy. Oh, I see that. That's it. It does not take on a positive or a negativity polarity. No weight, no heaviness. It's very light. And that is why the circle of our inner being, our true self, is said to be enveloped in a high frequency, very high balance energy. Super ultra high. It does not oscillate between positive and negative. Light, when you see a light wave, okay, light, it has electromagnetism, but it doesn't oscillate very well. It's very tiny, and then because it's very balanced, it's very high energy, it goes very fast. Okay, and how does the person of level 3 wisdom experience serenity and inner peace? We use this metaphor of a river. Raft on a river. Okay, so this is a raft on a river, floating across the river. The raft is called a raft of hearing and seeing. And the longer we stay on the raft, the longer we know that we are seeing, the longer we know that we are hearing, already seeing, the longer we know that we are hearing and seeing, then the longer we experience this state of emptiness, of being. You can say emptiness of inner being or emptiness of being. And with that emptiness of being, we will experience serenity and inner peace. Okay. Serenity and inner peace is the shore that we're trying to get to. Some people experience serenity and inner peace right away. They don't need to experience emptiness of being. They just exist in the state of serenity and inner peace. They have a lot of grace and merit in order to do that. Some of us have to use the raft. We have to stay on the raft of hearing and seeing. When an information comes in, when an event comes in, especially if it is an undesirable information or undesirable event, we easily fall off the raft. We easily fall into the emotion and the mind. We react with our emotion. We start to analyze with our mind. Just hop back onto the raft. Oh, I am hearing and I'm seeing. That's it. Already, always hearing, always seeing. And the longer we stay on the raft, the longer we can suspend the analytical mind and the reacting emotion. And the longer we suspend the emotion and the mind, at least we will feel empty, and that will be close to serenity and inner peace. For some of us, we may arrive at serenity and inner peace. If we extend it long enough, suspend that emotion, suspend that analytical mind, and we may actually feel serenity. But even if we don't arrive at the shore of serenity, at least emptiness of being is more desirable than falling off the raft and being drowned by emotion and the mind. Okay. And what is this already always seeing? I want to make sure we get all of that. When I hold this up, we see this thing. We see this as what? A pen, right? But before we see this as a pen, do we not see it first? Do we see this before we see it as a pen? It is the true seeing. The original, the already always seeing. The moment we see it first before we see something, before we put any kind of name to it, right? By naming it the pen, then we've already entered the mind. But we recognize that we see that and don't judge it, don't put a name to it, then that is the true seeing. That is the truth within ourselves. Do you get that? Let's try this, okay? Let's put this on there. Before we call this by name, did anybody notice that they just saw this before you start immediately name it as something? Anybody here able to do that? Okay, let's try it then. Okay, I'm gonna try again and see if you can see it before without naming it. Okay, let's put that. Just see it and don't name it. Now, if you name it, then it is, a computer mouse. Did anybody get that? So the next time an event happens, somebody calls us something, we see an event, we see somebody, before we apply an identity to it, before we apply a judgment to it, before we feel something, before we analyze, see if we can just hold that moment of just true seeing. If your mind is too busy, then we can apply the rap to say, okay, I know that I am seeing, I know that I'm hearing. But that's just a tool. That's, you know, that's the tool of the mind to kind of simulate the true seeing. But the true seeing and true hearing is a state of being in which you don't even say that you're hearing or seeing. In fact, my mind is working so fast, okay? In fact, if you say, I see something, then you're already, but if you say, I know that I'm seeing, that I is already an attachment to identity. That is already, you're already fallen off the raft. We should say knowing. That's why I say already knowing. And when you see something, okay, or when you hear something, just say already always hearing, already always knowing, already always seeing. Because if you say I know that I hear, then there's that attachment to identity, then we've already fallen off the raft. Does anybody get this part? Do you, Marianne, Dilam, anybody, Antayan, did you get this this little discussion about level 3 wisdom?
Oh, I didn't know it's a level 3 wisdom, but
You've already.
yeah, the other day I received a text message, and the content of the text is not what I expected. So, you know, so I will like, you know, I just want to like delete it, but then, and then at the instant I said, wait a minute. Now I learned about this, you know, concept that the emptiness, you know, just see, you know, just like you said, just know what I see, know what I read, and no analyze, no reaction. So it stopped me for a second. So I was thinking, okay, so that the information come in, I reacted by getting angry and analyze it. Oh, that's not what I want, and I almost wanted to delete it, but then in the instant said, oh no, slow down, stop, and then, you know, okay, and then remember this. Okay, that's not what I see. So now I know. Okay, that I try to practice the level 3. It's difficult, but it's manageable. So
Yeah,
I
so
just want to share that.
yeah. So an event happened. You found yourself wet in the water. Then you climb onto the raft.
Yeah.
And then you will dry for a little while. Yeah. Okay. So and ý nghe equals true seeing. Yeah, and one way to say it is that true. I mean, ý nghe is true hearing. Okay, ý nghe, ý thấy mean true hearing, true seeing. Another way of saying is that it's already always hearing and already always seeing. Okay, the phrase already always là luôn luôn nghe, luôn luôn thấy đó. Already always. Okay, it calls attention to the fact that it's always there. If we say true seeing or true hearing, then we have to define the truth as the truth is something that does not change over space and time. Okay. Right. So once again, oftentimes, you know, most of us are still learning. Most of us are still practicing. We experience an information. Immediately, we found ourselves wet in the water. Right. We're already in motion in the mind, but we know, okay, we have this tool, so we jump back onto the raft. We apply the already always hearing, already always seeing, and then that, you know, that space of emptiness opens up a better choice. Right? Before we immediately react, we didn't have any choice. We didn't even experience level 1 awareness. That was like level basement, right? You had no awareness. They had no control whatsoever. Level basement. But when you can jump on the raft, then it opens up a choice. Now we can choose how to respond. We can choose to respond negative. We can choose to respond positive. But even if we respond negatively, it is a choice. Sometimes it is appropriate to respond negatively. Sometimes it is necessary to yell, but that becomes a choice, and it is a powerful choice initiating with level 1 awareness. Or if you take ownership of your life, then it's a level 2 wisdom. Right? So The more we practice, one day we may simply just, oh, I just noticed that, and it has no consequence whatsoever. And that's inner
Frank,
peace.
we have a question.
Yes, sir.
So it means that when we jump on the draft, and then we have three options, right? We choose level 1, or we choose level 2, or we can choose level 3 to react to the information.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So which is a good, you know, closing? A person of true wisdom is a person who can rotate among the 3 different levels. Right? Immediately, what you want to do is practice level 3 anytime, because level 3 opens up the possibility for a wise choice. Without level 3, without emptiness of being, without being balanced, we immediately fall into the water. We immediately are trapped by emotion in the mind, and we have no choice. We just react, right? We have no choice. But if we have emptiness of being, then that moment, it opens up the possibility for better choice. We may need to choose between the right and wrong. We may need to react, especially in a emergency situation, right? We need to move right away. We need to know what to do right away in an emergency situation. If your house is on fire and all we do is just sit on the raft, oh, I see my house is burning. I know I'm. If we're sitting on the raft and all we do is level 3, then our house is going to burn down.
Yeah,
But a
that's
person
what
of
I'm wondering. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
very serious situation, emergency situation, so we have to quickly use the level 1.
Yeah, we may have to quickly use level 1 or level 2. The root cause of life begins with me, and I need to do this, and I need to do that.
Yeah, okay, got it.
But if you
Thank
don't have level 3, and all you got is level 1, then you may panic. We may make wrong choices. We may run in the house and getting something instead of running away for safety, right? So give ourselves a little bit of emptiness, suspend that judgment for a little bit so that our choices will become wiser. A person of wisdom is a person who can rotate among different level 1, 2, and 3 when appropriate. But a person who sits in level 3 all the time is not going to be very helpful to themselves or to the rest of society. Nothing gets done. If you sit on a raft all the time, you just see things going wrong, bad things happening, and we never initiate any kind of desire to cause any new changes, then the world doesn't get any better. Your life doesn't get any better. So that's not very useful either. That's called complacency. Complacency.
Some people say that if we stay too long in the level 3, we may become a monk.
We may become a monk. Monk has a special calling, a special purpose. Okay, they practice staying as long as possible, but when they interact with us, do people not go to monks and teachers, for advice? When they interact with us, then they still have to use level 1 and level 2. Because if they say level 3, then they can't talk to you. They don't say anything, right? If there's no response, no emotion, no analysis, there's no response. Because right outside of this circle, if you remember, is so there's the reception part, which determines what you take into yourself. There's the ideation or imagination, which is mental images, and there's the expression. If you talk to a monk and the monk talk back to you, then that means the monk has to apply level 1 or level 2. If the monk doesn't say anything, then he's just sitting there, he's meditate, and he really not helping anybody. That is a different path in life. You can, some people will pursue that. That's fine. Even the Buddha, right? Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, spent many years studying, practicing, meditating, achieve enlightenment, achieve state of being, true emptiness. But he has to wake up and go and interact with people. He has to talk to people. He has to express. He has to talk to them about what's good versus what's bad, right? What we should do instead of what we should not do. So the Buddha himself had to apply level 1 awareness and wisdom in his interaction with humanity in order to raise humanity to level 3. Yeah. So the lesson here is, yeah, we now we have expanded our awareness. Before we didn't even know we have different levels of awareness. We're just kind of stuck in level 1, reaction and analyze. We learn level 2. Ooh, that opens up a choice. I create my life. I create mental images, root cause formula of life that determine my choices, which determine my outcome in life. Level 3, oh, okay. I suspend judgment for a second, longer if needed, whatever it takes to reach serenity, or however long it needs for me to come up with a wise choice that would give me the ultimate outcome that is desirable in life. All right. And another statement is that a person of level 3 wisdom is a person who always live with the present reality. It is the present reality. It is the now. Right? And how do you do that? You ask 3 questions. 3 important questions of life. Who is the most important of my life? Who is the most important person of my life? When is the most important time of my life? And what is the most important thing to do with my life? And to answer that question is very simple. Who is the most important person of my life is the person who's in front of me. Okay, because I don't know if I'm going to survive the next moment. The past is already gone. I cannot change the past. It is nothing more than a memory trace. I cannot live in the future. I can create mental images and plan for the future, but I cannot live in the future. I can only live in the present moment. And the person I'm speaking with is therefore the most important person, because if I'm not present with that person, then where am I? I can think about another person, but that person is not here. And so if I'm not with that person and I'm not with the person in front of me, then I'm nowhere and I'm not existing. So there is really only one way to exist, is to exist in this moment and to be fully present with the person in front of us. And that is the most important person of my life at this moment. For me, personally, it is you guys in this Zoom. I'm very grateful for that. And I give my entire attention to you guys because I'm living in the moment, okay, sharing this philosophy, because you guys are at this moment are the most important people in my life in this moment. Do you guys sense that, right? All right. And what is the most important thing to do? Whatever it is that you're doing, you're caring for the other person. Okay, for right now, the most important thing for me to do right now is to share this philosophy with you. If you're with a spouse walking in the forest, then the most important thing to do with your spouse in the forest is to be with your spouse in the forest. Right? When the most important thing to do with your children is to be with your children or whatever activity that you're doing, to give that person your entire attention. Okay? And then the most important time is right now. We can't live in the past, we can't live in the future, we can only live in the present. That's the 3 important questions of life that a person of level 3 awareness have. And that's it. That's all I have.
Yeah, so wisdom has the 3 levels, right?
For today, it is, next week we can briefly mention level 4 and level 5.
Oh,
But it's not level 4. Even if you don't know level 4 and level 5, that's fine. You can still
wow.
experience a life that is very happy and healthy, okay? The 7 candles of holistic health is candle requiring only level 1, 2, and 3 wisdom. The benefit of a person of level 3 is that eventually we'll talk about character, and that is the character of authenticity. When you speak from a space of emptiness and true seeing and true hearing, then another person will sense that you are being authentic and truthful. They're not thinking that you're having an agenda. They don't think you have an alternative, what is it called? Alternate, ulterior motive. They just sense you have a character of authenticity. Okay, that is another candle that we light after we talk about attitude. So with wisdom, we will light up the candle of attitude. With wisdom, we will light up the candle of character and integrity. That's why it is the first candle on the foundation of our house. Okay. Yeah, the WIT organization stand for Wisdom Level 3. WI means wisdom and T stand for 3. Wisdom 3. The mission of the WIT organization is to help people reach level 3, to expand their awareness to include level 3 wisdom. Okay. So, any lesson or impression today before we close and say goodbye?
Yeah, so I thought the serenity, the most states we had.
It's a what? It's the
That-
highest stage.
Yeah, the highest state is serenity. So the level 3 is the end level.
Level 3.
Because
Mhm.
because serenity is manifestation of level 3, and I thought serenity is the highest stage.
It's a
Earth.
very, very high energy
Yeah.
vibration. Okay. In fact, as a human being, if we want a life that is totally healthy and totally happy, all we need is 3 energy. The energy of serenity, which is inner peace. The energy of magnanimity, which is generosity and tolerance with other people. And the energy of honoring gratitude. We just need those 3. And a person of wisdom is able to rotate. When you got nothing better to do, just be at peace. Don't worry. Don't worry about things that's not here. Be in the present and be at peace. That's serenity. When you have to deal with people, especially the people who are difficult, then initiate the energy of magnanimity. Be open, be generous, be big enough to encompass and hold them in your vision. And when things happen to you that is favorable, initiate the energy of honoring gratitude. Those three energies have been determined by science to be of high level, high vibration. Okay, high vibration and super high vibration. And when you exist in that level of high vibration, you will increase the chance of encountering desirable circumstances in life. When you approach another person and we are grateful for them. When you acknowledge and grateful for another person, right? Remember, acknowledge and gratefulness. When you acknowledge another person for their presence, be grateful for them. Don't that increase your affinity with them? They get the sense that you appreciate them. They appreciate you back. And if somebody say or do something and you just be magnanimous, don't blame them. Don't resent them. We just accept it. And we have nothing better to do, be at peace. See, 3 simple state of being that can totally transform any life, any moment. And then we can rotate among those 3, just as we rotate among 3 levels of wisdom, level 1, level 2, level 3. Recognize the good, right, and wrong. When appropriate, we can choose the right. When appropriate, we choose what we should do. Or when appropriate, we rise above right and wrong. We take ownership. I am the root cause of my life. I am the master of my destiny, and I create my future and my reality by inventing and creating positive mental images. Go after favorable source concepts. Raise my affinity with other people. Accumulate grace and merit. And when I have nothing better to do, be at peace. And when you have nothing to do, be at peace. Okay. All right. All right. Any last question or comment? Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you so much.
sticking through, okay, for sticking through the last part. Okay. You guys take care, okay?
See you next week.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
Grateful for your presence. Looking good today.
Gracious relation.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you next week.